Hey guys, Mike here. So today I'm going to talk about 5 ETFs, and what the heck, I went in and threw a 6th one in there for you at the very end. So 6 ETFs that I'm personally looking at and trying to figure out which ones I want to take and invest my son's money that I've been saving up for him into, for college, for other types of investments like rental properties, things like that for him. And so what safer way to do it than ETFs versus individual stocks? And when I'm looking at these, I'm not going to choose all of these. I'm just trying to figure out which one looks best and will get the biggest amount of return for him over the next 12 to really 15 years. And then it'll be his to do what he wants to with, of course. But I want to make sure it's there for him, which is why I'm looking at ETFs. But I'm also looking at ETFs that, everybody goes with the usual, and I'll show you a few. Just buy the SPY, or just, buy VOO, or something like that. A lot of Vanguard ETFs, and they're great, but I'm trying to look at something for his generation, something that is really should be taken off in the next 5 to 20 years, really moving. And so I wanted younger ETFs that are like anywhere between 5, and some of them are 10 years old, but most of them are relatively young. And I'm going to show you, their performances, what their holdings are, what the expense ratio is. And so, of course, do your own due diligence on this. This is not financial advice. This is what I'm personally looking into. And then, of course, in the comments, I always love the feedback for everybody to be able to read. And, let's share our thoughts with each other. If you've ran across ETFs that you invested for your children, or you looking to invest, and, share with the community. Let's share with each other. So, it's all about the next generation, right? So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into this. And so I want you to keep in mind, guys, I put this up here for a reason. Here are some of those popular investments people make. 3 of them are Vanguard ETFs. Another one's the Invesco QQ Trust. And then, of course, Ark I had to put in there because everybody talks about it. But if you look at the prices of them now, and Ark's the youngest one. It started before 2015. The other ones have been around for years. They're going from, some of them are over $400 a share, $230, $368. The Ark is $120. So understand, the reason why I'm looking at these other ones, when you see the prices, you understand that these right here were not always this expensive. You can see by the chart, they have grown over the years, right? And so that's what I want to find for my son, for these ETFs that start out young and they just grow and get up to $400 a share, or $368 a share, or I even take $230. So keep that in mind as we go through this. And one thing I want to go ahead and put right up front here was why I'm leading to these ETFs is simple. Follow the smart money, the big money, which are the institutions, the super rich who invest way out. They don't invest like for a year or two. They're looking down the road with their many millions. And so I found this great interview that tells you exactly where the super ultra wealthy are putting their money and looking at those returns for the next 10 to 20 years.
I want to bring in Michael Sonnenfeld. He's the chairman of Tiger 21, an investment group for the ultra wealthy, 900 members with more than $88 billion in assets under management. Michael, it's good to see you. I think investors are just trying to comb through this market, trying to figure out what will be the next big winners. What are your members investing in right now?
Getting very interested in clean energy. They're not looking at the stock price today. They know the clean energy transition, especially with this terrible report that's come out this week. We're going to have to end fossil fuels, decarbonize, and completely rewire the utilities of the world. That's trillions and trillions of dollars a year over the next decade. And they're trying to play that play more than anything of what's going on today or tomorrow.
Michael, a little bit more specifically, I guess, where are they seeing opportunity in clean energy? Because you can take so many different avenues when you're looking to invest in that space.
Sure. Well, different areas get a little ahead and then behind, but the biggest areas are in the power sector. Number one, utilities that are increasing renewables. In the private space, a lot of new renewable companies. But in the public space, you have the electric vehicle companies, not only Tesla, but Lucid is now out, and the truck companies are there. You have the ETFs that are in batteries. One estimate says that there's going to be 25 times the demand for batteries than currently exists. That's going to be a long run.
And so that leads us into our first one. This one is the SPYX, SPYX. It actually is really the S&P 500, but without any fossil fuel stocks in it, okay? So it has all the stocks, but it removed all the fossil fuel stocks out of the S&P 500. And as you can see right here, very low expense ratio of 0.20%. a price of $110, which if you look at the SPY, it's much more expensive than that. And so you can see it was founded in 2015 right there. And if we go and look at the holdings, you'll see what I'm talking about. When you see you got the top holdings, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Alphabet, is just what the SPY has in it, minus fossil fuel companies, okay? And by removing the fossil fuel companies, obviously they have a higher weighted percentage than some of these other stocks than the SPY does. And just to show you the chart here, when I say it's identical to it, you see how they move together, right? And as you look at the last 5 years, the SPYX has actually outdone the SPY. It's 110% return versus 104% return, which don't seem like much, but 5%, depending on the kind of money you got invested, it could be quite a bit, especially if you're investing for years on end. And so, but you can see right here in the last year to date, I mean, they're almost identical, right? I mean, there's really not a huge amount of difference. And so, of course, there's a couple of reasons I would look at investing in this one versus the SPY. In my account, I invest in the SPY, buy options on the SPY and all that stuff. But with his, because it's a much smaller account, I have way less money to work with. And also, I don't need the liquidity, right? I'm not going to be trading in and out of it. I plan on holding it for a long time. And plus, I can build up more shares, which down the road, if I decide I want to sell a few and move into something else, I can. Versus if I go into traditional SPY, it's going to cost a lot more money to build those shares up. It's going to take up a lot more percentage of his portfolio. And as you can see, they move identical almost, right? Even though SPYX actually did outdo it over a 5-year span by almost 6%. And so I'll take that. And so that's why I will be looking at that one, because I still get exposure to some great companies. And again, I don't need the liquidity because it's in his account. Probably wouldn't buy it for my account, but for his, yes. And that's why. So I wanted to show you that one first. And then the next one I'm looking at is QCLN's First Trust NASDAQ Clean Edge Green Energy Index Fund. You can see it's going for $66, has a 3-time expense ratio, the other one at 0.60%. And as you can see by the holdings, this one gives you a mixed basket of companies. ALB, get to know it well, is the biggest lithium provider for EV companies for their batteries. Then you got the big EV companies right there like Tesla, NIO, XPeng, and others. Then you're looking at solar and wind power companies as well. I also have semiconductor companies. And so this one gives you a nice mixture of companies to look at a very reasonable rate, at a very reasonable expense ratio as well. And then if we look at the next one, we're talking about the third one, is DRIV, D-R-I-V. I've talked about this one before. It's only going for $27, expense ratio of 0.68%, which is still very reasonable. And you look at this one, and actually the top holding, because anything to do with really EV or anything else, Google, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, NVIDIA. So you got the EV companies, you got the automobile companies that are trying to go EV in this, you got all of your semiconductor stocks in this one, big tech, if they have anything to do with EV, they're in it as well. And so this one has a lot of great companies in it, very mixed basket of stocks for you as well, and at a very reasonable rate at $27, by the way. And then the next one I'm going to talk about here is REMX. This is the Van Eck Vectors Rare Earth Strategic Metals ETF, which is getting a lot of hype right now. We've been talking about MP materials and everything else. This one's a little more expensive at $113. Reasonable expense ratio at 0.59%. And as you can see right off the bat, this one right here, a lot of exposure to China, because who owns 70% of the market in the rare earth minerals category is going to be China. They have 35% of the reserves for rare earth minerals as well. Then there's Linus out of Australia. I own that stock personally. MP Materials down at the bottom, you'll see, copper miners, anything you imagine that has to do with what EV and everything else needs as far as the rare earth minerals, copper, stuff like that. This one holds for you. But you see right there at the top, though, your China exposure is going to be around 40% of this ETF just because they own so much of it. But don't count this one out just yet, because I think you'll be shocked to see how well this ETF has actually performed. Then you have LIT, which is the Global X Lithium and Battery Tech ETF, which is really popular right now. And it's going for $86 with the highest expense ratio of around 0.75%. And then looking at the holdings for this ETF, you can see there's ALB once again, but this is going to hold basically any company that has to do with providing the materials for the batteries or making the batteries. You see right there, you got exposure to Tesla, BYD, Panasonic, LG Chem, Samsung. So, a big variety of companies just like that. And more importantly, of course, how they perform. Well, first I want you to look at this right here. I'm comparing all 5 of them side by side. And so of course, right off the bat, you can see right here, you know, from 2017 and 2020, they pretty much just traded sideways. They're up a little bit, up and down, but they got that huge jolt after the crash when, you know, everybody started really realizing, wow, the clean energy sector's taken off. Ark Invest was very popular. And so people started to realize we actually need this a little bit more and a little bit faster. So it really skyrocketed these types of ETFs and put them in the mainstream that you can tell. And when we scroll down and look how they performed over the last 5 years, you can see the second one, QCLN, is the top dog at 332% returns over the last 5 years. Then you got LIT at the very bottom, 243%. And you see most of them perform very well over the last 5 years. If we scroll up and just look at what they've done in the last 6 months, you can see that the rare earth minerals ETF, which is number 4, is up 58% because it's starting to take off, and a lot of headlines in the news lately about that. And then obviously the SPYX is doing well at 21% over the last 6 months. You got LIT at the bottom, 27%. And so as you can see, these 5 have performed pretty well, but got the really big jolt after the crash when Ark became popular, when people started really realizing like, hey, yeah, I think we're going to need to go more clean energy, right? When China's all in the headlines for dominating the industry, not just on alternative energy, but the rare earth minerals sector as well, then of course they started moving up. You know, how well they will perform over the next like 5 to 10 years, I don't know. I don't see these kind of numbers popping up, but you know, I definitely see some very good numbers, and I think they will rival the other ETFs as far as percentage-wise of the gains, because this is just the way, for them to move like this is institutional money. This is rich folks moving into this, because they realize down the road, of course, this is where we're going. You see how fast the EV industry is growing, which means they're going to need a lot of batteries, okay? A lot of batteries. You heard that gentleman say in the beginning. You know, wind, solar, you name it. And we're just one country. You know, the whole world is starting to really shift this way. And so that's why I'm looking at those 5 in particular. And I think a lot of them are self-explanatory. That's why I didn't go into like great details on them like I am this very last one. And so, you know, I'll be looking at these 5. You know, obviously I really like the rare earth mineral sector. I'm going to tell you right now that that's just something that's going to be needed. Here in America, we've declared a national basically emergency on it because we realize, you know, we're kind of behind the 8 ball on that one. And so that's one thing that's going to be huge, because you need those for everything, right? Especially the alternative energy sector, which is going to be booming. And so that's something I definitely am looking at hard for me not to like, you know, SPYX, because the SPY goes up and up and up over the years. So SPYX should follow right along with it, if not outperform just by a tad bit. So I really like that one as well. To me, that's the safest bet in here actually. And so I like those. But there's, you know, I picked these 5 for a reason, because I like all 5 of them. So I'm still, to be honest, I'm still doing my due diligence, trying to figure out like which one or 2. So I'll pick probably 2 out of these 5. But then the last one I want you to look at, I'm going to go a lot more in detail about, because to me, this is probably the riskiest one, even though it makes a lot of sense. But I definitely want to give you a lot more detail on it. So let's go ahead and hit that one now. And of course, this one is KRBN, Crane Shares Global Carbon ETF, going for a whopping $36 with an expense ratio of 0.79%. And so what makes this one different is it basically seeks to provide a total return that before fees and expenses exceeds that of the IHS Market Global Carbon Index over a complete market cycle. So it's benchmarked to IHS Markit's Global Carbon Index, which offers broad coverage of cap and trade carbon allowances. You guys who know anything about Tesla know about this. By tracking the most traded carbon credit futures contracts, the index introduces a new measure for hedging risk and going long the price of carbon while supporting responsible investing. Currently, the index covers the major European and North American cap and trade programs, EUA, CCA, and the RGGI. And to look at some of the market highlights here, according to IHS Markit, as of December 31st, 2020, the global price of carbon was $24.05 per ton of CO2. It is estimated that carbon allowance prices need to reach $147 per ton of CO2 to meet a 1.5 global warming limit. As of December 31st, 2020, the 3 largest global carbon future markets, tracked by IHS Markit's Global Carbon Index, had a market size of $260 billion with a B. And what's even crazier right here, the Financial Times reported that European carbon allowances within the European Union emissions trading system in 2019 were the world's top performing commodity over the past 2 years. China's emissions trading market is expected to launch by the end of 2020. Once fully implemented, it will be the largest carbon allowance market in the world, which may provide an additional catalyst for the performance of the global carbon allowance market. Currently, the ETF holds 15,000 carbon future contracts, which represents over 15 million tons of carbon emissions. And just to show you how well this is performed, this is up 72% compared to the SPYX, which follows the SPY over a 1-year period. So it is outperformed by 2.5 times almost, which is just kind of insane, really, if you think about it. You know, year to date, it's doubled what the SPY has done. And so, of course, I just want to throw that one out there because it is a lot different than the other ones, right? A lot of wealthy people, I've seen a lot of interviews, are investing into that ETF. That's why it's moving up so well. Institutions are getting involved because they see what's going to be going on for the next 5 to 30 years, right? And so carbon credits and things like that are becoming a big thing. And so hit me up in the comments on ETFs that you have found, you know, that you're investing for your child, so we can all know about it. And let me know if any of these, you like any of these as well. And so hit the like, subscribe button, guys. I really appreciate it. Help spread this video and get it out to people. And also don't forget, if you want to buy some crypto, hit that link down there in the bottom. You can go and buy your crypto at BlockFi and gain plenty of interest on it, 7.5% on your Stablecoin, 4.5% on your Bitcoin, and you can apply for that ever popular credit card they got where you can earn Bitcoin on every purchase, which is what I'm doing right now. In fact, I'll update you guys soon on it. Plus, take loans out if you need to on your crypto at a very reasonable rate. And so I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you later.